let's go to like real world scenarios. You've got a client with $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, and they're like sitting there hoarding it, like they can't spend it. Is that a common thing?
I see it all the time. And like that also drives me nuts. It's like you've done this your whole entire, like my dad's a perfect example of this actually. Like my dad, all he wants to do in his life is buy his 1965 Corvette. Like that's it. That's all he wants.
Mm,
And he literally has the money right now in cash in his bank account to do it. But like he can't pull the trigger for whatever reason. He's like worried that something else is going to happen. He had he worked for WorldCom. He lost his entire retirement savings.
mm.
He was like 54 years old. So he went from, $1 million to literally nothing, built himself back up again, retired, and now he's like he's got this trauma and this baggage that he's had a very hard time of spending his money. Now that's his scenario. It's something unique, but like I see that happen all the time. There's somebody I'm actually thinking about right now. She has $3 million. She lives off of her Social Security and she works part-time at a library just because it's something for her to do. Her daughter has like this debt. It's like $30,000 of student loan debt. And she really wants to pay it off. She wants to give her daughter this life and she wants to pay the student loan debt off her daughter. But she's scared. She's scared to do it because all of a sudden now I have $2,970,000.
Mm.
Is that gonna affect your life at all? Like it
Well,
won't.
let's,
She's actually not a client of mine, real quick, not to cut
yeah.
you up. She's not a client of mine. I help her through a nonprofit I work with. I help her pro bono all the time. And I was like literally talking about that passion. I was like screaming at her on the phone the other day, like this is all this awesome stuff you can do. And she finally was like, "You're right. I need to stop thinking about what everybody else thinks and just do it." I said, "You're right." Like get out of your own
Well,
way.
that goes to the leadership thing we talked about, where early on you're selling products. You're on this finite game of, oh, got to hit my quota for the year. To where infinite game is, how can you show up in this life to impact others in a positive way, be a leader to them, right? And that lady needs to hear that. And that's coming from a place of love, and trying to inspire her to like not die with $3 million in the bank. And I just pulled up, by the way, guys, your mission control, which, for those unfamiliar, that's one of the things we do for all Triad members, which is really dialing in your vision where you're headed for the team. So you're all clear on the destination. And then the second part is really the brand manifesto. We've done a lot of work with Chris Smith, but what we're known for, it's actually your hashtag, right? What we're known for is simplifying complexity so you can realize what's possible. The true outcome of our work. The true outcome of our work is the freedom and courage to make what's possible real. So like even these stories right here, it's almost like part of the mission that you're on as a company is to kind of help people unwind this complexity or baggage that you just talked about, like all the psychological baggage they're bringing in, so that they can actually realize what they want, the possibility that they want out of retirement. So Tyler, do you have a take on that? I see you kind of nodding your head or waiting to jump in.
Really at its core, what we're talking about is helping people. And so much for our industry is focused on sales. I'll go back to it again. Every company out there says, hey, if you sell enough, we'll take you to the Bahamas, or we'll take you to Mexico, or we'll take you to Europe. And they dangle this carrot out there as a sales incentive. And what we're really talking about here is something very different than sales. What we're talking about here is building into people's lives, building a business. Andrew and I, we each have teams in our office. Our team's doubled in our Bloomington office, here in the last 2 years. And that's all about helping people. And so I think when it comes down to like the sales side of the conversations we're having with our clients, it's not about product. You have to move past that. We don't have any magic product, Brad. Like there's nothing that's the Tyler and Andrew magical silver bullet mutual fund.
Right.
And we have the same stuff everybody else has, with maybe a few wrinkles that we have access to. But for the most part, it's the same stuff everybody else has. What we really are trying to do is put those tools in a way that can help people. And so our conversations now, when we're sitting across the desk from clients, they're going from product, hey, check out this cool illustration, look what it's going to do to you, or do to your financial life, or do to you. and
Mhm.
and then we're really just pushing through to meaning what's meaningful in your life. How can we accomplish what is meaningful? I have a client right now. He wants to build $1.5 million house in 2 years in Tennessee on a golf course right on a lake. It's gorgeous, right? It's going to be amazing. He has the plans. He brings them in with him when we meet. His question is, how can I get it done? We're not talking about products or process or tools. We're literally sitting there and talking about his dream and helping him have the confidence to do it. He's worth $6 million. He can build the house. He just
Mhm.
wants to have the confidence to know he's doing it the right way. And so in order to give people that confidence, we've sacrificed and worked really hard to get to the point where we can communicate in those terms, where we can show people we can back up what they're trying to accomplish and give them the courage to do it. And ultimately, what our practices are really becoming is like little factories of courage, where one by one,
Mm.
we're cranking out courageous people who are going from a life of success in their working careers to a life of significance in their retirement careers. And what we're really trying to do is we're using some widgets, but those widgets are just creating more courage for them to leap into that abundant life of significance more. And I can speak about this passionately, and Andrew can too, because it's something we want for ourselves. When I sit down across from somebody who's 60, 65, one of the great things about working with people who are retired as a younger person is I know I'm almost there. It's
Mm.
right around the corner. I'll be that age just in the blink of an eye. It'll happen like that. And I want the courage to be able to do that just like I want to give it to them. And and we know we didn't get there by ourselves. We became a better version of ourselves, but we had help. Right? Andrew and I both became better versions of who we once were, and we committed to that. We didn't know exactly what we were committing to when we said yes, but we knew that there was a better version of us out there, and we had help. You referenced the different documents and things, the launch plan and our brand manifesto and all this stuff. We didn't do that ourselves. It's easy to sit here on a podcast and talk about that stuff and people listen and go, wow, how are Andrew and Tyler so smart to get there? But we had partners. We had people who believed in us that we in turn believed in, and we partnered and worked on it together. And that's the type of thing we want to bring to our clients to know that, hey, we're not asking you to do anything we didn't do ourselves. When a client sits across from us, we're only asking them to come along on this journey, the same one we did as well, and the same one we're currently doing. Have the courage to step out and do that. We can be bold with our clients and just tell them that. I tell the story all the time about when I met Triad. There's two big moments in my life that changed my life permanently. When I married my wife and when I said yes to Triad. Those put me and Brad, I see you smiling right there, but I
I,
want you to know that
I would concur with that. I would
I want you to know those are two giant
only when I
life-changing
married my
moments.
wife, not yours.
Yeah, well, that's those are two giant life-changing moments. I said yes to something that was hard, and I didn't know how hard it would be. My wife and I have been married 16 years. There's been ups and downs. There's been really hard moments. I've been doing this business for 20 years. There's been up and downs and really hard moments. And before I started doing either of these things, the stuff with Triad, the stuff with my wife, marriage, um, I didn't know how hard it was going to be, but it's growing me. And now I have a wife that I can impact, children that I can impact. My kids' friends, they come over to my house, and I get to have conversations with them and impact them. And my business was the same thing. We're just challenging our clients to say yes to being impacted by what we can do.